multi-sport athletes, I feel like we're tackling a lot of issues that I struggled with over the years. And so maybe you can help me and others. Like you mentioned being at Ponder, you have a lot of multiple sport athletes. How do you make it work for them and keep it to where it's a healthy environment?
I think it's important that, while especially they're in another season, let them, let them focus on that. Don't try to pull them so much in another direction of like, hey man, you got to be in the gym. You got to be in the gym. And I'll remind them and, I'll keep them in the loop about what's going on. And I definitely I know with basketball, it's such a skilled sport. Like you lose that touch so quickly if you're not, you know, working on your craft. So there's kind of a fine balance of that. But also sometimes distance makes the heart grow fonder. Like if they get a chance to be out of the gym away from you a little bit, that by the time, that season's done, they're ready to transition into doing something different and competing in a different game and way and be around different coaches and stuff. And so I think there's definitely ways that you can make it work. And then it goes back to the kind of first part of our conversation, like availability. Like I need to try to be somewhat available to where if a football player gets out of practice, they practice in the mornings, they can come in the evening after school and get some shots up and do some ball handling. And if they're in season, like you're not playing 5-on-5, like you're not playing live, we're going to take those away from you so that we minimize any chance of injury. But, we can work on some skill. We can do a little bit more stuff like that to be able to kind of keep that touch and keep your skill kind of progressing in the right direction. But I'm also going to be flexible. Like for our school, like, I want to see Ponder do well in everything. Like if all sports are succeeding, then that just like is a huge shot of energy into the mindset around the school, the mentality, the school spirit. And so, I'm not going to try to punish a kid that if they're competing for the Ponder brand to be angry at them because it's not just for me. It's for us. And so it's hard. Sometimes it's a bit of a balancing act because, we ran into a situation sometimes this summer that, we had kids playing 7-on-7 and we didn't have everybody to play in some of our basketball tournaments. And, for me, it being my first year coming in, like I'm trying to view everybody. I'm trying to get a sense of like where we're at. And I couldn't do that. And, there's parts that are frustrating about it, but also at the same time, like, a kid's competing for Ponder. They're getting better for Ponder. It's not like they're sitting at home eating Cheetos. Like, I mean, if they're sitting on the couch, just playing 2K and not doing anything, that's a completely different story. But if they're out competing and doing other stuff and being active and doing something else that they enjoy, then I don't feel like I can really get mad about that. Like, we have to be willing to share. And I feel like if I'm supportive of football and other sports like that on campus, that hopefully when it's my season and it's time to play basketball and those kids that cross over, that we've got a good working relationship and they'll kind of, they'll be able to return the favor of let the kids be in the gym, let them compete, let them be all in for basketball. And when that's done and they got to transition to baseball or, they want to go play tennis or track or cross country, whatever it is, that we're going to help each other out during those seasons and let those kids maybe focus on that sport a little bit. But then again, be available because basketball is tough. Like if you're not playing basketball all the time, like it's just hard to be competitive.
Yeah.
You have to, again, there's the balancing act to it, but that's kind of the ways that I've tried to approach the situation with multi-sport athletes and celebrate it and be okay with it.
I think it's a great reminder about giving them a break from us. I know we all think that our players being around us the entire year is the best thing for them.
I'm the coolest guy ever.
Why would you want to be here? But and listen to this voice all the time and snap, like we snap all the time. Like that has to get a little bit annoying. You need a break. But I think that kids, every player, they either like it, they love it, or they live it. I would imagine a lot of our multi-sport athletes like basketball. Maybe some of them love it. I don't think they live it, or else they wouldn't be doing anything else, right? But I think if they like it, then a break is probably really necessary, and we need to honor that. I think you're right on the money. If they're doing anything for our school, Ponder, if it's faith, then one, we need to be interested in that. So show interest and act. Don't act like doesn't even exist. Like, how did your game go? Man, I'll be there. I can't wait to watch you. Man, you killed it. Great job. Oh, you guys lost. Don't worry about that. Like, you fought hard. We need to show that interest in them, because I think that matters. And then, like, you nailed it, man. Be available. Have the gym open, but they already know they're missing stuff. They know that. Don't make them feel that even more. And as a younger coach, I think I passive aggressively made them feel like they were missing out even more than they already were. And I think we got to be careful with how we say things to them. And then ultimately, if a kid loves football, let's just take football for it. Could be baseball, but if he loves football, and I love that young man, I love that person, why would I want them to stop doing something that they love? If I'm truly in this for kids, and a kid that I care about loves that, man, I'm going to support the crap out of that. But that doesn't mean, and this is to myself, but to any coach, like, that doesn't mean that we don't have honest conversations and we don't talk about natural consequences. Natural consequence of not shooting a lot is your shot does not get better. Natural consequence for these other guys being in the gym is that when you get back, you'll feel a little bit out of it, but don't worry. Just like we want to take a little bit of, I know you're going to make mistakes when we're trying this out. You take the pressure off their back by acknowledging that. I think we acknowledge that with our multiple sport athletes, but let them know that we're not going to hold it against them. They're not going to be penalized because they've been competing for us. They're not going to be penalized, and we're going to give them time. But I think it's good to have those honest conversations.
And that's, I think, being someplace like here, that's probably, something that's a little bit more established, as far as kids are very accustomed to doing a lot of different things, doing extra outside of school, going to training or playing for an AAU team or, something like that, along with playing some of these other sports. And it was something that I felt like I struggled with at Bridgeport. Just for example, kids weren't used to that. It was just, we go from this to this to this to this, but there was no extra outside of those sports. And so, like you said, there's natural consequences to it. If you're not working on your ball handling and shooting, but we get into a game basketball season and you want to beat these top teams and be a competitive program and make the playoffs and do all that, well, then you're going to have to, during baseball or football season or track, once you finish that, come in for 15 minutes and do ball handling. Come in for 15 minutes and on the gun and get 200 shots up. If you just do that day in and day out, that's a lot. That stacks up. It doesn't have to be a crazy workout, but just, again, setting that expectation of stay kind of primed. You're going to pillar off your basketball skills, but also, you need to be doing it. And again, that's hard, because me and you are live-it guys, man. If the gym was open, I was in the gym. I love playing basketball. I'll still play with them sometimes. I hopped in
for you. Enjoy playing
the other day, and I said, guys, I'm staying for 2 minutes, and I got to go back to work. And I played for a long time. It's just fun. It's fun. It's when you're playing and competing and doing something that you enjoy, it's fun. And if you're a live-it guy, that's what you eat, sleep, breathe, and it's hard to sometimes sympathize with other people that aren't like that about basketball. And that's, because I'm an all-in obsessive personality type. And so if it's, we're playing basketball, we're doing basketball, man, we're gung-ho about it. And not everybody's that way, but they can still be a tremendous asset to the team, even if they aren't like that. But there's still standards and expectations. And if your team is full of live-it guys that are in the gym constantly and they're working, and you got some light guys coming around, again, there's that natural consequence to it of it's not that I'm not holding against you that you play other sports. There's 10 other guys that are better than you that are in the gym all the time. I can't really control that. Yeah, there's that balancing act for sure.
I think too, you got to sometimes be okay with not everyone being happy with you. And I think as coaches, that's hard. Like, I think perfect world, man, I would like for everybody to feel valued and for everybody to get a little court time and for everybody to feel like playing in our program was a good thing for them, their families. But we all know the odds of that happening, it's not going to. And so we have to be okay with if we're doing everything right to support the kids. And also with sometimes there's a style of play that may be easier for football players to transition into if they are a bigger kid and you play a style where they're allowed to stay around the basket or maybe screen more. It's a less skilled spot, where they have to handle, shoot, and do stuff. I think that's an easier transition and may make it better for them. A 5-out system like ours, where every player, the expectation is that they can shoot it, they can handle it to a degree. And if you can't, it's going to be hard for you to find time. Golly. So what's happened, I feel like, is players have come in, they feel the tension of like, I am not as comfortable right now with the ball. So some of their time suffers. And then sometimes you get blamed for coach doesn't like football players. He doesn't like multiple sport athletes. No, I do like them. But also, this is the way we play. And if you're better than some of our straight basketball guys in doing that, you'll play. But like you said before, it's all about the amount of time. Growing up, one thing my mom was really good with me was scaring the crap out of me about there's always someone else working harder and doing more. You always have to assume that. And so that made me more of a live-it guy. Well, not everybody's like that, but to kind of wrap my whole point up here is we have to be okay, do our very, very best to make it a healthy transition and to make them feel wanted, but be okay with some guys being disappointed and upset.
Yeah, definitely. That's on it. Like there's a story my dad loves telling all the time is like when I was maybe a 7th or 8th grader, something like that. I invited a bunch of friends over because they just put in, one of the nice in-ground goals, like sweet, like NBA style, the gorilla goals,
Yeah.
Like that's what I've been
hang on this rim.
Yeah, yes, the breakaway rims, lower it down to 7 foot, and act like, you're Michael Jordan or LeBron or somebody like that. And so, I got one of those goals, and so I invited some friends over to play. Well, it's during the summer, and it's hot. It's hot outside. We come home. It's like on a Friday. It's hot, and we go outside for about 2 minutes. All right, we want to go back inside and play Xbox. So they all go back there. I stay outside and shoot. My dad went back to my room to try to find me, and he notices, like, where is he? And he said, I heard the ball bouncing in the driveway. I walk out, and he said, you were so like, I was so mad sitting there. And he was like, what's wrong? And I was just like, I invited them here to play basketball. I want to play basketball, and they're mad because it's hot outside. Like, who cares if it's hot outside? Like, we're here to play hoops. Like, that's what this goal is for. And like, again, that was kind of a teaching moment for him. Like, there's other people that aren't going to have the same dedication as you. And you have to find a way to manage that and manage some of those expectations, but also still embrace who you are. I love being in the gym, and, that's not going to change. And I'm going to do a lot to give opportunities for those that want to be in the gym. And it's not to hold anything over their head. It's just, I love basketball, and I want to give a kid every opportunity to be the best player they can be.